Hello everybody. Welcome. I felt a real inspiration today to want to connect with you and to talk about this transitional period that we're going through. We're moving from one paradigm to another paradigm. And living during these times is in many ways feeling like you've got one foot in one world and one foot in another world. So I wanted to talk about this transition that we're going through from the Age of Pisces to the Age of Aquarius. Especially since we are about to have this blood moon lunar eclipse in Aquarius coming up on the 26th, 27th of this month. And I think many people are really feeling this. Yes, there's a lot of us feeling the intensity of the energies, whether you're going through lots of emotional shifts, whether you're going through challenges with your work, with your relationships, with your health, with your family. There's all kinds of challenges that we're going through, but now I have a sense that things are getting magnified. It's like the heat is on. And I wanted to put things into a certain context for you. If you like, connect the dots astrologically. Because there are those who poo-poo astrology, even though it's becoming almost mainstream in many ways now. But that astrology can actually show us what we're moving towards, as above, so below. So, if we look at the energy of this Piscean age that we've been in for approximately the last 2,000 years, we're looking at the advent of Jesus, Christianity, religion, suffering, deep pain, grief, and the main thing around Pisces is this sense of being victim consciousness. Feeling as though you're powerless to make a change and that you're just doing what you're told to do. So, for example, we're told we have to work, we have to earn a living, and I'm not saying those things are not important, but many of us are working at things we don't like. And some really hate. So it's about everything is changing out of this victim consciousness. Whether you have it in your personal life and you feel as though you're being abused, traumatized, all those kinds of things. Or on a wider scale, where there are immigration issues, where we've had historically abusers and victims. And now, in many ways, we're victims to our healthcare systems, to the pharmaceutical industry. And this shift now is away from being a victim, from seeking solace in alcohol, drugs, all those kinds of things, because that's what Pisces rules, is escaping from this world. It's too painful. Don't want it. Rather than escaping now, there is this new awakening that is happening as we move towards the Age of Aquarius. And we're on the cusp of it, from what I can see astrologically. Because in 2020, 2021, Saturn, Jupiter come into Aquarius. 2025, Pluto will come into Aquarius. So all the planets begin to reflect this shift. It's exciting and it's difficult. We're waking up out of a dream. Pisces is the dream state. Aquarius is the awakener. Let's wake up here. We don't have to be victims anymore. So what's Aquarius about? Aquarius is about working together in communities. That's precisely what is beginning to happen here online. We're learning together, we do webinars together, we do live streaming together, we find groups with whom we resonate, and we're building community. Uranus, ruler of Aquarius, in Taurus now. This is a time to build tangible communities. Communities where we can break away from this mainstream, where we've been in this dream, drugged, thinking we have to conform. We have to do with what the powers that be tell us to do. No, it's power to the people. This is the good news of this Aquarius age. However, making this transition and changing the mental conditioning involves quite a lot of work. Not something that is like falling off a log and you just wander in and say, oh, I'm awake now. For most of us, that involves really facing certain hardships, taking on leadership positions, inspiring others. And the best thing about this age of Aquarius that excites me, one of the things is, we're moving away from an age of competition into an age of working together. I used to compete. I used to be a concert pianist. I used to compete in competitions around the world, different places. And there was always this sense, I want to beat this one, I want to win. And yet, when I did win something, it was nice for a brief moment and then it was gone. It evaporated. The joy of that was no fun. I was in competition with my fellow man, woman. No. It's not about being in competition with one another. It's about working together. I don't know if those of you might know of Greg Braden's work, a scientist and an archaeologist, and looking into the earth, very spiritual, and at the same time a trained scientist. He talks about this. He says that nature works in community. It doesn't work in competition with one another. And that's what we're moving together. We're moving into that as we move into this age of Aquarius. So it's new. Yeah, we're having to look at, we've been conditioned to compete, top of the class, getting the highest marks. And that doesn't mean to say that competing cannot be beneficial if it spurs you to achieve more, but rather have somebody inspire you and you go your own unique way, which is what Aquarius is about. It's about this uniqueness, because we're all different and we're all changing all of the time. So things are going to come out into the open. Things that have been hidden. This lunar eclipse, boy, that's going to bring some things out. This is one of the strongest eclipses of this century, the longest one. And interestingly, it's in Aquarius. To me, it's no coincidence. To me, it's a synchronicity. So, you may find that things come out on a personal level. We've got Mars retrograde in Aquarius as well. Another Aquarian energy coming in. It's an awakening time. Things coming out. Well, Something that had to come out for me was a tooth in these last few days. And I resisted this because Mars is retrograde, not brilliant to have anything surgical if you can help it during Mars retrograde, but it was urgent. I was in so much pain. And it had been going on for over a year, on and off, getting worse and worse and worse. And nobody could find anything. Nothing on the x-rays, doctor to dentist to surgeon, they couldn't find anything. And some of you may be going through that. Nobody can diagnose, nobody can find it. Nobody can find what's happening with you. And in the end, I had to take my power, Aquarius, about taking your power, speaking up, being the individual that you are. And I begged this surgeon, I literally begged him. I said, if you want triple the money, I pay you. He said, it's not about the money. He said, it's just I can't see anything wrong. And it's such a shame to take out what looks to be a good tooth. I said, listen, I know my body. Please, please take the tooth out. And he took it out. And guess what? He found a fracture, a hairline fracture that could not be seen on any x-ray. So, you may be dealing with things that are coming out that can't be seen, that you need to take your power with and say, hey, I feel something's not right here. Might be in a relationship. Might be somebody you feel is lying to you. Yeah? There are many different things here. So, just be prepared to surrender to whatever's happening. Now, I think this Age of Pisces has been a lot of suffering, of tears, of pain. It's still going on. And that the Age of Aquarius now takes us to where we can help one another move away from the paradigm of pain and suffering. I know it's big and it sounds big. It is big. Because together we are so potent. We're stronger than all the governments that we have. All the economists, all the bankers, the people coming together as a voice together. We are so potent. And this is this Age of Aquarius. You're going to see words like super coming in front of normal words. So sonic, supersonic travel, not far away. There are companies now looking maybe by 2025 to have supersonic airplanes. I think the technology is going to improve. Anything to do with aviation is going to just move forward. Flying trains, flying boats, flying planes, flying everything. Everything to do with flight. So if you're interested in this field, I would really get into it now, because I think it's going to be a hugely growth field as we move into this Age of Aquarius. I think we need to realize that we've got power. We've been wandering around in this daze. Age of Pisces, it's a daze. And now it's the Age of Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus. Whoa! We can tangibly affect our environment if we work together. And it's being shown. You look at that Heart Math Institute. It's being shown people coming together, praying, getting into the quantum field. The work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. Don't know how many of you have come across him. He's doing some tremendous work in this field. Tremendous healing, miracles. He's written a book called Becoming Supernatural. Another word with super. Miracles are going to be happening. And what is a miracle? Just something that we don't think is possible. People are healing from terrible injuries by working with the vibration of the heart. And we're going to be really able to take control of our health, our well-being, our working practices, our emotions. There are so many solutions. This is the wonderful thing about the Age of Aquarius. It's a time of finding solutions. Super soul, superstar. Yes, you think about this. This is at the core of what's happening. And people may laugh and say, oh, that's not. It is happening. And it's not about fighting the status quo. Because everything in Capricorn, coming up in 2020, we're in the build-up to it. Saturn's there now, Jupiter coming soon, Pluto's already there. The structures, the existing structures, they're going to pull themselves down. We don't need to get involved in the fight of the pulling down of the structures. The coming Age of Aquarius lasts approximately 2,000 years. But the significant times are always in the transitional times, making the change. When you look at an astrology chart as an astrologer, I always look when somebody's progressed sun, progressed moon changes sign. Something, when it changes sign, it's at its strongest point. It's at its most powerful point. We are at our most powerful point. We're coming into that now. And I want to share this with you because I think that this is really important, that we, open up our hearts. We're going to find that with Uranus in Taurus, our needs are going to change dramatically. Our material needs, this more mentality of another house, another car. I've not got enough security. I need a pension. I need these. I need this. A lot of that's going to change, especially with this Capricorn energy. Don't be frightened if it looks as though the United States is in turmoil politically. Good. The quicker some of the malignant structures can fall to make way for this new wave. It is a new wave. We're not in competition. We don't need to fight. Yeah. We are in it. Absolutely, we are in it, you guys. Yes, it's just that I think it's important now to connect some of the dots. This is why I felt really passionately on a Sunday afternoon. I thought, yeah, I want to really get into this with you. And maybe we can have a question and answer session live. Maybe you can post some questions on my community page, or you can email me, or here you can post questions. Because the more that we can spark discussion, the more that we can inspire one another. Uranus is about inspiration. Inspire, breathing, taking our breath to where we are one breath together. Working in cooperation. Aquarius is about cooperation. Superstar seeds. Yeah. This is great. The children will change the world, and we can change the world. We need to change the world for our children. The first 6-7 years of a child are totally looking at what you do, taking in what you do and say. They're absorbing everything like sponges. So you set the example. You're the one that can make the change, that can make this easier for our children. There's going to be so many solutions to chronic health problems. They're already out there. They've been suppressed. Lunar eclipse Aquarius, things are going to come out. There are medical inventions, discoveries that are out there already that we can benefit from. And nothing is going to stop us from spreading the good news. Spreading the good news. I am not ignoring the fact that there is pain, because there is pain in our bodies that we are working with. I know it. I go through all kinds of stuff. I'm not exempt. I'm in the soup with you. But yes, there can be cures to everything as we go out of competition, as we open to other dimensions that we can't see and haven't been able to see and haven't wanted to see. And it means very much, Aquarius, going out of your comfort zone. We get used to a certain way of being, and we like it. Pisces, dissolve the old, dissolve it, let it go. It's past. Aquarius, embrace the new, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it shakes you up. Really. Be ready to be shaken up. This is a shaking up time. This is turbulent. Yeah, you chose to be alive right here, right now, to come through this turbulent, warp, speed, rocketing experience. Yes, we are awakening. There is an awakening happening. And there's also the desire to go back to sleep. And then there's an awakening. It's like, oh, put the alarm on. I'm too tired for this. I don't want to get into this. It's too difficult. It's too hard. I've got to feel too many emotions. And yes, we can bring it to critical mass, but just by working on ourselves and by having a mindset that's a different one, that is not a victim. We are not victims. Yes, we'll be working with energy. We're looking at air, Uranus and air sign. By 2025, Neptune will be in Aries, out of water. Uranus will be in Gemini, another air sign, and Pluto in Aquarius. So it's really important these next years. We do get grounded. We do connect with Mother Earth, so that we can really fly as we move towards 2025, 6, and so on. So it's going to be this balance between connecting with nature. Nature shows us so much of the way. Uranus in Taurus, the earth, the animals, connecting with their rhythms. When you look at a cat, they're resting, but they're not asleep, they're alert. They hear a sound that's not familiar, that cat moves. Boom. But we don't tend to rest. We don't tend to rest very much. We're always on to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. So it's going to be important to embrace nature, to let nature soothe you, to let Mother Earth soothe you, to respect Mother Earth. Yes, I love you guys too. Very, very much. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for energizing what is coming here. It's going to be like living in a completely new world. Waking from the sleep, the drugs, the programming. Yeah. And you know what it's like? Sometimes you're woken up abruptly. I don't like it. I intentionally now wake up at around 3 o'clock in the morning. Sounds strange, I know. But between 3 and 6 a.m. is the time when emergency wards in hospitals are busiest. when people go through critical sickness and illness. So good to interrupt patterns, interrupt your sleep, interrupt your eating, interrupt things. Be ready to interrupt patterns. Boy, it's not easy because we are creatures of habit. Yeah? We like a certain habit, we get used to something. Oh, that's nice. And then you get comfortable. And the minute you get comfortable, you begin to die. You know what it's like? Get comfortable in a relationship. It becomes like an old shoe, an old smelly shoe. Don't allow yourself to get too comfortable. Otherwise, you're going to get shaken up from the outside, and we're all getting shaken up from the outside. None of us are exempt. Yeah, we're all in this together. But the more you can do it yourself and take your own power and choose to do it, then the easier this transition can be for you. I think we're going to be working with mind and mental energy differently. Seeing mind, ETs, other dimensions, other galaxies, other universes, time, all of these things are going to be expanded. We're moving into an expanded consciousness, conscious awareness. This is what people are talking about. You listen to Eckhart Tolle, Byron Katie, different ones, Deepak Chopra, whoever you like. There's many out there now. Many, many more. And people are awakening, becoming aware, becoming conscious. This, you see, this is different. We're not closing our eyes to the suffering on the world. It's different. You see, not closing our eyes and blinkering ourselves and being duped by, shall we say, false media, to use a term that is bandied around a lot. But it is about becoming conscious. Uranus in Taurus, seeing that all the needs that you think you need, you may not need. The studies being done now of millennials, many of them are not so interested in the material things. They're much more interested in NGOs, volunteering, helping, interfaith projects, bringing people together, communities. Because it's through sharing things that we don't need to abuse our earth so much. The less you need, the less you use, the less you spend. I'm not saying not to have material things, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying if you look at yogis, you look at people who are in a so-called awakened state, they're not looking for something more all the time. They're looking for a sense of peacefulness and a calmness. And that is also, I think, what we're looking for at this time. And a lot of this peace comes from knowing that we're connected. We're not alone anymore. You're not alone in this dilemma. Many are awakening and seeing that just getting into a great relationship, getting a great job, having some more money, another house, those things are nice for a while, but they're not ultimately satisfying to the soul at that deepest level. And this is what we're moving towards. I'm amazed that I've talked for 30 minutes non-stop. Thank you I could talk some more. What I'd like to do is to invite some questions, some comments. Let's see what we can create here. I may even get a panel together of some astrologers, if that's what you'd like, if that would interest you. And we'll answer some questions. We'll get into it. What about we do a live webinar? Would that be something you're interested in? Because that's something I'm thinking of doing. It's very close. I'm ready to do some live webinars where we can interchange. So, know that this is a turbulent ride. Welcome changes, because there are going to be changes in the wider world and inside of you. And just know that when you're going through a difficult period, say to yourself, it's temporary and it's going to pass. I know it's not easy to do. I have to tell myself that 100 times a day when I'm going through something. And it does pass. Each time, and each time I feel a little better and a little closer to my fellow man, a little less separate and a lot more connected. So yeah, someone's writing here, change is great. Yeah, change is happening all the time. So I just want to say thank you very much for tuning in with me today. It's always a pleasure. And let me know what you want. Yeah, post on my community, post on my videos, ask for what you're looking for, and let's collaborate. Thank you.